The covert female narcissist has usually, in most cases, not unlike or no different to, it's very similar to the male narcissist. They've misled themselves into a lifestyle that does not profit them or the people in their life. They have a compulsion for pleasure. They're driven by pleasure, and they parallel this with their responsibilities, which evolve around usually their habits and behaviors that are contributing to their minimalization. What I mean by that is to their minimalization and personal destruction. Now, this is what wisens these covert narcissistic sinful people up to what they can get away with and what they can't get away with. And every now and then they'll run into somebody that sees through them, and they'll usually evacuate. They'll usually go in the opposite direction, because they have a preset program that they're going to run to. They're stuck in it themselves, and if they can't condition you to come into this idealism and fantasy and very destructive form of living, then you're of no use to them. That's why initially, when you meet the female or male narcissist, they will play the game, and that's what they're doing. They're playing a game with you to see what your boundaries are, what your values are, what they can and can't get away with, to bring you into a place of trauma. Because the more they can get away with, the more, come on mate, Hank, the more supply they get from you. That supply is based on pushing your boundaries and causing you trauma to a way in which you are being conditioned to the things that they like. Now, this could be addictions, could be addictions to substances and chemicals, addictions to sex, addiction to dysfunction, addiction to enabling, addiction to causing the people around them to be groomed into the lifestyle that they have. And all this catches up with them eventually, and it catches up with the people that are associated with them. A major example of this is, and I say this respectfully, the Nazis, when they followed Hitler and his cohorts into their own self-destruction. That's a major example. Another example is a mother or a father who groomed their children to follow after them, to be drug addicts and drug addicts and alcoholics. These people have no consideration for their children. It's proof that they really don't love their children. They're running on a fantasy realm that doesn't work for them, and it will not work for those after them, and it becomes generational. There's generational evil spirits that are assigned to make sure that they can continue these people down a path of self-destruction and collective destruction within their personal lives. And I've witnessed it time and time again. How do you rehabilitate these people? Well, you don't. Usually it takes severe, and I mean severe, pain and loss. They may lose several relationships and one that is particularly important to them, and they decide that and realize that the reason for these losses are coming by way of their addictions and habits. Some people never find their way out. They'll live on the street for the rest of their life, even though they have a roof over their head. They're no different. Their lifestyle really is no different to that of the drunk that lives under the bridge or on the streets. And there's communities now where people are living on the streets because they're unable to get past their trauma. And this is exactly what the devil wanted. He wanted the victim mentality of humanity to be used as a way of enabling destruction. And mothers and fathers are experts at doing this to their children. They rescue them from their responsibilities. They don't make them accountable for things that they need to be to help them to grow characteristically and personally. They supply them money, drugs, excuses. They run around after them like they owe them something. And these are adults. They're not little children that the adult's responsible for. What you've got to realize is, as a parent, you're not responsible for your children after the age of 18. If you've done your job and raised them and got them to 18, it's up to them after that, not you. But we hang on. We use our children for supply. We use them to help us pay the rent because we failed in our lives. We try and get partners and we're enmeshed, and the partner won't tolerate the enmeshment. They can't be conditioned to it. See, many of you people, particularly the single mothers, your husband is your golden child or your scapegoat. In some cases, these women have 2 or 3 husbands. I remember Jesus came to the woman in the well and said, no, you've had 5 husbands. And I dare say if that woman had children, he possibly may have been referring to them as well, because covert emotional incest is when a parent surrogates a child and makes them a intimate partner without the sex. I'm going to say that again. Covert emotional incest, when a parent is enmeshed with a child and surrogated that child as a little husband or a little wife, is an intimate relationship without the sex. And when these people need to find sex, guess what they do? They get on the dating sites, they become predators to find somebody that hopefully they can entrain or teach to be conditioned to how they live and what they do that's dysfunctional. They'll hide as much of it as they can, but they'll try and condition you to their lifestyle or hide large parts of their lifestyle from you, particularly the enmeshment, and you'll experience a void, a horrible, terrible void. And I've got to put it to you very, very simply, as these voids and aggravations are appearing to you, and you'll notice that the voids are happening because they're disappearing with their adult children, because that's where their true emotional source of intimacy is coming from. You need to realize that you're just being used as a physical contribution to the sex that the children can't give or won't give, because that's crossing the line too far. You see, covert emotional incest is about being covert. It's hidden. And as it starts to come to light, if you've got the sense to see this, many of you have suffered terribly at the hands of these enmeshed people. You need to detach according to your concerns. Detach. Don't push in harder, because they're not going to change. They've made their life up around these people, these family members. Detach. Come back to yourself. Get counseling, get therapy, do whatever you have to. Leave these people alone. They'll end up together, broken and ruined and living in each other's pocket. Go no contact and never go back.